Oh my goodness gracious, Danny Dimes in his first career start for the New York Football Giants. Daniel Jones throws for over 300 yards, accounts for 4 scores, does not throw an interception, and leads the Giants to their largest come-from-behind win in 49 years. Jones is 1-0 and trailing by 18 plus. Eli Manning was 0 for 44 in those games in his career. Jones is making the decision to bench Eli look like a good one, at least through one game, folks. The 6th overall pick in this year's NFL draft threw for 336 yards and 2 touchdowns and also ran for 2 scores, including the go-ahead TD with 1:16 remaining as the G-men rallied from an 18-point halftime deficit to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32-31 on Sunday. Wow, just wow. More on Jones in the C list. Tampa Bay's top priority defensively was containing second-year running back Saquon Barkley. Barkley was limited to 10 yards rushing on 8 attempts and 4 receptions for 27 yards before leaving late in the first half after hurting his ankle when he was tackled at the end of a 6-yard catch. He spent the second half on the sideline on crutches, wearing a boot on his ankle, but he did not miss the post-game celebration, sprinting onto the field on one leg to join Jones and company. Saquon is set to have an MRI today. We'll know more on how long Barkley will be sidelined with that high ankle sprain. The Giants return home to face NFC East rival Washington next Sunday. Speaking of rivals, the Jets had their hands full on Sunday in Foxborough. Even if the reigning Super Bowl champs were without their newest weapon, the Pats became the 3rd team in 7 months to sour on Antonio Brown's off-field problems when they released the All-Pro receiver on Friday. On the field, they didn't need him to roll to an easy victory over Gang Green. Unfortunately, Tom Brady threw a pair of touchdown passes, and the Patriots didn't allow an offensive touchdown for the 3rd straight week as they dominated in a 30-14 win Sunday. By the way, the Buffalo Bills are 3-0, and the Jets are the last New York team without a win. On to baseball, Michael Conforto hit a 3-run homer to cap a 4-run first inning Sunday afternoon for the New York Mets, who remained on the fringes of the National League wildcard race with a 6-3 win over the host Cincinnati Reds. The Amazons begin their final homestand tonight against Miami in Flushing. They are 81-74. Back here in the Bronx, Luis Severino struck out 9 over 5 scoreless innings for his first win of the season, and the New York Yankees hit 3 more home runs as they beat the Toronto Blue Jays 8-3 on Sunday in their regular season home finale. The Yanks started the season, check this, 3-6 at home, then went 54-18 without losing a series in the big ballpark in the Bronx. The next game at Yankee Stadium is October 4th, Game 1 of the American League Division Series. Sounds good, doesn't it? The Pinstripers celebrated the career of left-hander CC Sabathia before Sunday's game, his last regular season home game at the stadium before he retires. The 39-year-old has spent the past 11 seasons of his 19-year career with the Bombers and was honored with a pair of touching video messages that drove him to wipe tears from his face. The Yankees presented him with parting gifts, a painting marking his career highlights, and a 10-day trip to Japan for him and his family. He threw out the ceremonial first pitch to his mother, Margie, because she was his first catcher. Another amazing moment here in the Bronx, courtesy of the Yankees. In other baseball news, George Springer homered in each of his first 3 plate appearances, shouldering the load until the Houston Astros broke free with a 6-run 5th inning in their 13-5 victory over the visiting Los Angeles Angels on Sunday to clinch the American League West. The Yankees, the Atlanta Braves, and the LA Dodgers are the only teams to clinch their divisions thus far. The St. Louis Cardinals have clinched a playoff berth. The extra wild cards in baseball has kept the postseason storylines running late into September. In racing, Joseph Newgarden clinched the 2019 IndyCar Series title by finishing 8th in the final race of the season in Monterey, California. On Sunday, he finished 8th at Laguna Seca, taking the championship for the 2nd time in 3 years. And NASCAR nudged off the lead with 87 laps to go. Martin Truex Jr. rallied Saturday night, ultimately passing Joe Gibbs' racing teammate Kyle Busch with a 25 laps to go and winning his 2nd consecutive NASCAR Cup Series race. That it came in the series playoffs, it seemed, made it all the more surreal. The series moves to perhaps the trickiest race of the playoffs at Charlotte. In F1, Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel has been on a rotten run of late. His last Grand Prix victory coming 392 days ago in Belgium, but the stars aligned under the lights of Singapore's Marina Bay, with the Ferrari driver taking first place this past weekend. Preseason hockey returned this past week. The New York Rangers fell to the New Jersey Devils 4-2 on Friday and then 4-1 to the Flyers on Saturday. New York is back in action at MSG on Tuesday to face the Islanders. The Broadway Blue Shirts also saluted former standout Dan Girardi, who retired from the NHL. The NBA preseason looms too. The Nets begin on October 4th. The Knicks start up on October 7th. Training camps open at the end of this week. And we promised you an insider look at UFC 244 on Friday's show. Here's a teaser for the big fight coming up at Madison Square Garden on November 2nd. Check this out.
I'm coming to fight with everything I got, so I'm going to give it my all, man, whatever it takes,
One of the best parts of this whole thing is being the headline in that. Like you said, it's a historical event center. I'm sure all the greats fought there, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and everybody. I'm sure all the big games. So that's definitely a great part of this fight.
Ooh, BMF. For tickets, go to UFC.com. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a debut to remember. Listen, one game is one game, but it's hard not to get hyped by what you saw on Sunday in Tampa Bay. Daniel Jones put on some show. Now, I get it that Tampa Bay missed the potential game-winning field goal with time set to expire, but man, oh man, you have to give Danny Dimes some love on this Monday morning. Jones scored on a 7-yard run in the second quarter and put the Giants ahead with another 7-yarder on 4th and goal. 2 rushing touchdowns. The rookie began New York's comeback with a 75-yard TD pass to Evan Engram on the first play of the second half and a 7-yarder to Sterling Shepard midway through the third quarter. Jones making his first NFL start in place of benched 2-time Super Bowl MVP Eli Manning, completed 23 of 36 passes with no interceptions. That could be the most impressive stat of the afternoon. With Saquon Barkley exiting with a right ankle injury late in the first half, Jones also led the Giants with 28 yards rushing on 4 attempts. Again, give him credit for extending plays with his athleticism and making plays with his feet. As impressive as the former Duke standout was, he was not perfect. He was sacked 5 times, and a forced fumble led to a field goal that put Tampa Bay up 31-25 with 6 minutes to go. Jones also lost a fumble that led to one of the Bucs' touchdown passes. But again, all of this goes out the window when you look at 2 things: the final score and his final stats. Jones did more than enough to help them win, and that's all you should ask for from a 22-year-old rookie. Looks like a new chapter in Giants history. And the first pages, Bob, they sure sound pretty good. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C.